some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, doo-dah, day.
Hi there, folks. It's Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. I am flying solo tonight so far, which means it's probably going to be another short episode because there's not much I can monologue about that I haven't already monologued about. So rather than bore everyone to tears with a repetition of the same old stuff, I will kick back, relax, and maybe get to bed before 3 a.m. That'd be novel. Find myself these days waking up around 10 and staying up till 2 in the morning or thereabouts. Just sometimes I'm doing something, sometimes I'm just can't sleep. Like normal folks can sleep. My wife's been in bed since about 10 o'clock. I don't know. I blame it on all those rotating shifts I did when I was at work. I'm either working during the night or working during the day. It's hard to manage working during the day and sleeping at night. You get through, well, the way my wife cooks, you get through a food coma and wake up, and it's kind of hard to get back to sleep after you've had that little tryptophan nap. The nap ninjas have swatted you very hardly and heartily as well. Let's cover all the adverbs. Yeah. Since I retired, my sleep schedule has been really crazy. Sometimes I'll want to go to bed really early at night. Sometimes I'll find myself sitting here at like 4 o'clock in the morning going, why can't I sleep? Um, my wife gets a little frustrated, but she married me, so deal. Uh, let's see, I guess I can just run a couple of commercials, and that way I give people time. If anybody's going to come in, then it'll be a good opportunity for it. If not, um, I don't know. I'll try and make it half an hour or so, but I can't guarantee anything. When I get bored of talking, I'm not going to be very interesting to listen to either. So here's an ad for my latest book, and then immediately after that, an ad for its sequel. In the early days of the Korean War, an underage boy ran away from his family's farm in West Virginia to join the Army. He quickly transferred to the Air Corps and became a fighter pilot. Somehow, he became useful to several alphabet agencies, so he was recruited to help them during the Cold War. Eventually, he got tired of being a spy and tried to retire. Fate had other ideas. These are some of the early adventures of Captain Tom Darby of the U.S. Army Air Corps. From before that fateful night, he rode his motorcycle around a curve too fast on a back road in rural Georgia and accidentally began a new life entirely. Change of plans, folks. Mr. Bachman has graced me with his presence, so I am infernally grateful.
Good evening. A little bit different background than what I had earlier.
Yeah, so you're through playing Frogger for the night and with live traffic.
Yep. Yeah, all it was, they're taking down the temporary barrier wall. So it was more of a be out there in case shit hits the fan, or rather, shit hits them.
Yeah, whether a driver hits the concrete
Yeah.
happens entirely too often. Uh,
Saturday night, I definitely won't be on because that's the night we're putting up the new sign and taking down the old one.
highway sign.
Yep. It's see if I can pull this up. Nope, not that intersection. Or that one. It's that one. Oh, wow, that zoomed quick. Holy crap. Let's try that again. Let's see. Let's put you about there. Facing the correct direction. There we go. Let's move up here a little bit. And present, share screen. Boom. There we go. So this is the current sign structure. That's going to get taken down. And then a new one is being erected just past this mile marker sign over here.
Okay.
They're moving it 55 feet to the west.
And the logic in that is
Well, the current exit sign is pretty much over the exit lane, like it's already got the gore area going under it.
Yeah, a
So
little bit of advance warning would be appreciated.
right.
Believe me, I've driven interstates before when both the GPS and the sign say, "Here's your exit," and they meant you just missed your exit.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a 20-minute rolling closure that's gonna start So here's about where the sign is.
Yeah.
The rolling closure is going to start all the way back here at this intersection.
Okay.
About 7 miles.
That ought to give you enough time to move the goalpost.
So they're going to roll along at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. And once we notice that traffic is no longer coming underneath us, because we'll have cops sitting on these ramps here to block traffic. Once we see we no longer have traffic going under the sign, they have 20 minutes to take down the old sign. And then we'll have to let traffic kind of filter through, get back to a normal-ish state, and then do a second 20-minute rolling closure to put up the new one.
What happens to the old signs?
So that all becomes property of the contractor. So they basically they'll probably turn it in for scrap.
I wondered if there was some kind of statewide recycling program where they go and strip the old sign down to the bare metal and put a new one on the same metal.
So they'll when they're not moving the entire structure, they'll put up just new signs on the same structure. They do that all the time. But when it comes to having to move the structure, they'll actually just erect a whole new structure and tear down the old one.
Yeah, I just meant the signs themselves.
Yeah, they'll strip the reflective sheeting off of it and just take the metal to a scrapyard.
Seems like a waste. Joe Dog could use some new siding for the yellow truck. Just weld that together on the sides and like another sheet of armor.
I mean, most vehicles are aluminum body anymore anyway. You might as well aluminum side them.
Hey, and believe me, most of the signs around here have got dents from beer bottles and whatnot being thrown at them, and the occasional target practice.
Mm-hmm.
They put up new school bus stop alert signs for both directions, and it didn't take long before somebody goes, "Oh, that's a new one. Let me see if I can hit it."
Let me see if my scope's still sighted in.
Oh no, they don't bother to use a rifle in a moving vehicle. They use a pistol. The only saving grace is they don't have time to aim very closely, but it does make for a nervous time in the housing development downrange.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Um,
Yeah, the contractors, that's one thing with, at least with our state. Most things that they remove become property of the contractor. The exception to that being some of the traffic, like the traffic signal equipment, some of the computers and stuff that are in the control boxes.
mhm.
The state will request those back. But everything else, because all the stoplights and street signs that we've changed out on this contract, Hawk gets to keep all those.
I remember before I moved my mobile home into a trailer park, while I was living in the house, I had a very light-fingered roommate that kept making away with various signs across the city of Athens. And somehow or another, when he moved out, he left one. I'm going, what am I going to do with this? He's had it long enough to where they've already replaced the sign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to confess to anybody that I've got it. I'm in this trailer park. Oh, wait a minute. Here's one I need to put in the window. Danger, high voltage. In the
Nice.
window of my driveway in the end of the trailer. You'd be surprised at how few burglaries I had after I put that one up.
Oh, I bet.
But then this other one, it was I don't think it was a green street sign or anything, but it was a fairly decent size,
Mm-hmm.
and it was rectangular. And I went, okay, I'm building myself a barbecue grill with concrete blocks anyway. This is going to be what I put under the grill itself for the ashes to fall down on and make it easier to sweep out. So
Makes
I
sense.
did, and it stood the test of time for many a year. Matter of fact, when I sold the trailer, I think I'd just gifted them with the barbecue grill as it stood. Really, all I wanted from that trailer was away.
I lost a whole ass bottle. Oh, I bet it's still in the truck. I didn't put it back in my pocket.
What?
A bottle of my vape juice.
Oh, yep, it's probably still in the truck. Well,
Yep.
I can monologue for a while if you want to go get it.
No, my fat ass ain't going back up those basement stairs right now.
I
At least
like
I'm
the
honest.
delicate way you put that. Oh,
Now, next time this body goes up those steps, will be to go to bed. Thing is, I haven't. Oh, I think I finally got it. Oh, I finally got it. I have another full bottle.
ah,
I've been playing hell to get the damn thing open, though. They've changed something with the packaging, to where, it's kind of like a pop bottle. It's got the little, things that,
yeah,
when you first twist. The other thing with these is they're kind of like aspirin bottles. They're supposed to be childproof. You got to push down and twist to open it.
yep. And Thesis is with us too.
Hey, Thesis.
All right.
Hello.
But
Both of
this
y'all are
thing,
going to have to scooch a little bit over to your left.
yep.
Yeah.
But they changed.
You're going to give anybody that actually watches this show vertigo because they're only seeing half of your faces.
No, I do that just to help keep your ratings up.
Don't worry about it. They have to look at me, don't they? And with
Yeah,
Thesis
I don't
on,
know.
our ratings just went up. I mean, here's
Right?
some beefcake.
Oh, please.
Oh, even my wife thinks you're handsome. She
Does
hadn't
she
said
need
me.
her eyes checked?
No, she hasn't said that about me since we'd been married for about 5 years. So when we're working on 20, so should be this July 14th. The reason I had to hesitate, we have 3 anniversaries. The one where she got off the bus and saw me in person for the first time. The one where we went down to the courthouse and got married with paperwork. And then the one where we renewed our vows. over in England at this little chapel, and um, there was a priest that used to be a druid and a priestess that was uh, rather well versed in the Koran, and another officiant who was rather well versed in the Book of Mormon, which is kind of unusual in England.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our wedding ceremony was, it was a salad bar. They picked and chose what they thought fitted, and I mean they had the pagan hand fasting and everything. So um, I figured that one counts because it crossed a whole lot of barriers right there. Um, I'm surprised when the one half blind guy with a couple of crows on his shoulders didn't wander in and go, "Oh, excuse me." Uh, oh, right continent for it. Uh,
True.
oh, let me see if the camera will cooperate. This is something I wanted Thesis to see. Oh, I've got that hilt worked, or the sheath worked out real well. Um,
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Yep.
and
Very nice.
that is the acid etching fake
Mhm.
Damascus, but it's still very pretty.
Oh yeah.
And it's about a 14-inch blade, and I just realized I'm going to have to make a John Brown shoulder strap to keep that side of my kilt from sagging down,
Yeah.
because this thing weighs a ton. But oh, and I sharpened it. What good is a sharp and pointy thing that isn't sharp and pointy?
This is true. The
Oh,
sharp and pointies must be sharp and pointy.
I also got a
Yes.
pair of these. I'm going, wait a minute. You got to have a squire to lace these up and tie them for you.
Pretty much.
Uh, and this one, which is going to go on the shoulder strap.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, I had ordered that and the Dirk, and PayPal came back and said, "I'm sorry, we can't approve of the boot knife. That's just a no-no. Our lawyers said, no, you can't have that." So I ordered another one. They both showed up the same day. But this one, the belt clip, has got sharp, jagged edges on it.
No.
No. And this one's going in the sock, but I'm actually just going to have to make my own sheath to fit it. There's no way to undo this. There's no way to make it safe. It'll still have sharp edges even after I file it down. Besides, clipping it on the sock would have this side at my leg and this showing. So, yeah. I will just get my tandy leather out, and you've never seen this. Oh God, I'm going to have to go over this with saddle soap. It's beginning to get a little worse for mildew, but I made the
Nice.
sheath.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's saddle leather made to the same pattern as the holster for my my cowboy 45 Colt. So it's supposed to go on the off side.
Yeah.
But it's made the strap just the same as the one on the pistol holster. Um, this is a knife. Even
Well, I,
Crocodile Dundee would agree. This is a knife. I've chopped down trees with that bugger. Not
So is
because
that.
they were annoying. Yes.
I
And
made
that's,
that.
you made it? Good. Well,
Couple,
I did.
3
If
or
I
4
sharp,
years ago.
if
Spoon!
I sharpen this enough, it can be used as one.
There is no spoon.
Couple of years ago, my dad got me a little weekend course for knife making for Christmas, and that's the end result.
Nice.
And I was told by the bladesmith that I was the first person that he'd ever taught a class for that he didn't have to constantly keep an eye on because it was obvious that I knew what I was doing. And it sits right above my desk.
Very
Oh,
nice.
the contractor that we hired to fix our floor. He noticed the Toledo steel hand and a half sword hanging on my wall in the living room. He goes, "Oh yeah, I like collecting knives and stuff like that." And I go, "Hey, come this way, Grasshopper," and showed him
Yeah.
the sword rack. Showed him the sword racks on either side of the master bedroom. He goes, "I wouldn't want to break in here."
I had basically that almost exact same thing happen today because we had a guy come in to inspect our apartments because they have to be up to like federal code and shit. And I have one sword rack in the spare bedroom, another one in the kitchen behind me, and a third one in the main bedroom. And he saw the ones in the spare bedroom. He's like, "That's a nice collection." I went, "Nah, that's not all of it. That's like half of no, that's like a third of it."
This is just the stuff I put on display. You should see the good stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff that stays locked up. Most people have a gun safe. I have a sword safe.
I actually I did that for several years. I took my paternal grandfather's gun case, which I still have. It's out on the patio outside. It just doesn't have a door because the door broke. But I had swords in a gun rack. And people are like, "Well, why don't you put guns in it?" I said, "Because I don't have guns. I have swords. So swords go in it."
Yeah, really, because I can put more swords in there than I can put guns in there. Besides, well, it's like I told the guy. Most of these are just decorative wall hangers.
Yeah.
There's one or two that are actual combat worthy. Matter of fact, the 28-inch basket hilt Toledo, I sharpened it once 40 years ago, and I could still split kindling with it. I mean, it is actual Toledo steel. There are two kinds of Toledo steel. The kind that if you hit anything with it, it'll shatter into a million pieces. And the kind if you hit something with it, it's going to leave a big mark and come away undamaged. One of my friends helped me move from the trailer to the house here. So I'm working day shift. He was working night shift, but he woke up early. He said, "Yeah, I'll help, Dan." Uh, Drove about 3 trailer lots down from where he lived, opened up the trunk, started carting out guns and swords by the armload. Now there were kids all around in the neighborhood playing. He noticed there were fewer when he made the second trip. By the time he made the third trip to load up the trunk of his car, it's like a ghost town. Nobody was around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he just kind of grinned, as you do, and closed the trunk and drove off. Obviously, he had a key. He didn't have to break in.
Yeah.
And they're going, "Damn, if we knew he had all that shit, we'd have robbed the place a long time ago." But that high voltage sign scared the crap out of us. One guy it did not scare. Oh, I'm sorry. I have been looking at the thing. Nice metal spork and an antique showed them all. Yeah, Mr. Sterling, you can find all kinds of things at an antique show. Believe me, I have seen some amazing stuff. Oh, I'm almost finished putting the liquor cabinet together that Lindsay insisted on buying after I told her, "Look, honey, I can build something that'll fit better." No. She went ahead and spent money on this, so now I've got to use it. I need to put the back on. I need to fasten the hinges to the framework and the doors and close the doors to let me see whether or not I need to open it back up, take the door magnets out, and countersink the holes a little bit tighter. We'll have to see. And then one of my projects after that is we've got a smoke detector that is wired into the household current, which makes it about as useful as tits on a board. If the power goes out and the house is filling up with smoke, you don't get an alarm. There's no batteries. If you're cooking barbecue in the kitchen and you let something burn a little bit, it goes off. If you have the windows open and the attic fan on and it gets foggy outside, any particulates that come in from the fog sets off the smoke alarm. It's so old, it does not have the discrimination ability as a modern smoke and CO2 detector, which we also have, which chirps to let me know when the batteries need to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to unwire that smoke detector as soon as I figure out what breaker it's on, so I can turn that off. I'm not going to do it until I can figure out which breaker that one's on, and then I'm going to put in a 4 outlet, just normal electrical wall outlet, and put it up there, and run me a couple of lights inside the liquor cabinet so that I can see through the glass doors if Lindsay has broken discipline and emptied a bottle for me, or if I need to discriminate between one particular brand or another. Right now, I've only got one bottle of liquor in the house, and it's sitting under my desk. And one of the other things I'm going to do with it, I'm going to take the Wi-Fi extender out from floor level outlet and put it up on the wall so that we've got an extra outlet on that side, so we don't have to unplug something to plug in the vacuum cleaner to get the bedroom, the office, and the hallway. This place was built very early 60s by HUD, so it's made out of scrap material anyway. It's patchwork stuff, and nowadays it'd be subcode, but
Mhm.
because it was built then, it fit the code then. Nobody's bothered to come in and go, "Hey, we got to check this. This house is old." At least I got breakers instead of little screw-in glass fuses. Um, I have lived in places that had those, and
I currently live in one.
I have seen nightmare fuel OSHA training videos about the ones that have the solid, just clamp in circuit breakers, not switch type, but just the solid fuses. And there's an astounding number of things that stupid people have plugged in there to use as a fuse. One that absolutely terrified me was I couldn't tell whether it was a 30-30 or a 308 rifle round live in the fuse box. Oh, I just looked at that and I go, and it's pointed right at the master bedroom. I hope they don't have to get up and go to the bathroom at the wrong time.
Right?
Oh, we had one guy at work that had a bright idea about cluing people in as to shut off the breaker boxes before opening the door. And it was basically an outline of work boots spray painted on the floor as if they'd caught fire. And go, you want this to happen to you? Keep doing what you're doing. Oh Lord! And actually, there was some real footage of when somebody flipped a breaker box on without fully closing the door, and something flashed inside, and it blew the door off, hit the guy in the face,
Ooh.
burned him real bad on one side of his face. Because the door hitting him kind of shielded the other side, but the one side that was exposed to the flash, he got burnt pretty badly. Just imagine getting really, really close to somebody welding something. I mean, insanely close, like you wanted to examine while it was going on, and other stupid things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's about what it looked like. It took, I don't know, a good 6 months worth of plastic surgery to get him back to normal. I don't think he ever went to buy a breaker box again without circling around it. Oh, you want that turned on? Find somebody else. It's in my contract. I don't have to mess with breaker boxes anymore. I've got a medical dispensation. PTSD, really. When something explodes in your face, you kind of want something to not explode in your face anymore. And if you can do anything to prevent it, you will. A good parallel, I have been through construction sites like Joe Bachman works on,
Mm-hmm.
and the flagman starts leading cars through with a follow me truck, And one of the workers tries to cross the road with all these people that have been sitting there for 15 or 20 minutes needing to get to the next county. He just doesn't even run. He's just playing Frogger in real traffic. And I'm going, good God Almighty. Another thing I've noticed down here, the school buses turn on their flashing lights like a mile before they have to stop. You see the flashing lights, you go, oh, I don't know what driveway they're stopping at, but I got to stop here. I see the lights. I've got to stop here. And the bus rolls by you at 45 miles an hour. There you go. I know there's cameras on there that saw me sitting still and the bus went by.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell my wheels weren't moving.
And some of those bus drivers start their lights up just a hair too soon.
Well, yeah, and I'm all for safety, and that is for safety.
Mm-hmm.
But when the lights are on and you go 100 yards past the person that stopped for your lights before you actually stop, that's a little bit of an overkill.
Yeah.
You know, I've often wondered why those things aren't wired into the brakes. When they start slowing down, whether it's for a stop or not.
Yeah, at least the yellow flashers, I mean.
Now, if the sign starts coming out on the side, hell yeah, I'm going to stop. I will slam on the brakes. I mean, the child safety means a whole lot more to me than having to go back and buy new eggs because they just flew off in the floor. I remember too many close calls that I witnessed from inside the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking out the window here, somebody that I go to class with, and bus stops, door opens, signs go out. Somebody goes, woof, either around the bus from the back or around the bus from the front. And there's a kid in the middle of the damn road. 70s were a dangerous time to be a child.
I think every year is a dangerous time to be a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just about the level of danger.
Well, the danger evolves with the changes in society.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't used to have to worry about child predators that were not members of your family as much.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolute strangers. Didn't have to worry about serial killers that much because they were mostly in the cities looking for working girls. Out in the country, you used to be able to, if you're observant and cautious, you used to be safe. Nowadays, you're not safe anywhere.
Not really.
No, there's last estimate, there are at any given time, there are 300 uncaught serial killers active in the United States and Canada.
Oof.
Some of them are not even detected until after they pass away from old age. Nobody could connect the dots. this is what spending years in an unsolved mysteries chat room will give you for details. I keep seeing these videos on Facebook. DNA evidence just proved this guy's Jack the Ripper. And I go, where did you get Jack the Ripper's DNA from to test it?
You didn't.
No. And really, the only evidence they've got is, I think it's Catherine Eddowes' shawl, which Jack cut a piece out of to wipe his knife on and then clean his hands and threw it in an alley on his way back to his hidey hole. No way to get his DNA off of it. And she wasn't sexually molested, so I could see if there was a post-mortem rape of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would have evidence there if police in the 1800s thought to save and preserve that evidence. But a piece of cloth?
Every single one of the crime scenes, they completely botched collecting the evidence anyway. They had random people coming in and out. They didn't really block off the area. It was a shit show.
Yep, trampling all over everything, but they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
They didn't even have fingerprints back then.
Yeah.
It was just unheard of. Nobody figured out that everybody got their own individual fingerprints. And then I think in the 60s, some of the London gangsters were having their fingerprints surgically removed. And I'm going, great admission of guilt, guys.
Good job.
Yeah, really. We don't know what you did, but we know you were up to something. Oh, there was one mystery book where the criminal had obtained good fingerprint samples of lots of different people and made surgical gloves with different people's fingerprints on each finger.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, imagine you go to a crime scene in England and you got Prince Charles and Princess Diana's fingerprints on the same weapon, and she's been dead for years. That investigation is not going very far.
No.
All right, gents, I'm going to play that second ad now. If we got about 2 minutes or so, that if you need to go down the hall or refresh your beverage, you got time. 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Okay.
So see you then. I keep wanting to cut that down to just a minute long so other people can play it without stretching their ad budget. And I'm sorry, I can't have other people's ads on here because Joe Dog has filled up the stupid clock directory with "Good night, everybody," in like 70 million different clips, and I'd have to start deleting his stuff in order to add anything. So I'm doing good. And matter of fact, I had to delete 2 or 3 things of my own here just to be able to have Disposable Man and um, Abducted in the Aphelion advert. It's only 37 seconds. Um, but no, it's just matter of fact. There's one here that's a memorial for um, a friend that's no longer with us, and I probably he's been gone for several years now. I do need to go ahead and delete that one because his widow would not appreciate it being replayed. It was fine for the time that it was uploaded, but you know, times move. Uh, and let's see. There was one day a few weeks ago when I was actually wearing the kilt to see how it felt. And it was either on a Thursday or a Saturday. I kept standing up expecting the camera to show the kilt. No. As soon as my face was out of the camera's point of view, it went to the blank background. Nobody got to see it. And I wasn't going to wear it to the convention in Chattanooga in June. And I thought, wait a minute, Chattanooga, summertime, I'm going to need the cool breeze, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
And need the cool breeze, and pray a mosquito doesn't fly up there.
Oof.
This is true, but
because a mosquito flying up there truly proves that man can solve a problem without violence.
Well, it's certainly not going to be a can of bug spray on my Sporan. No, and Lindsay reminded me that if I didn't take it to Hallowcon and wear it on the warmest day of the nice day, pouring rain, cold as crap in the 3-day period, Dawn and Donna would probably revolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the warmest day has snow on the ground, I'm still going to be sporting the kilt just to get them off of my back. And Dawn will quote her supposed law. If a woman walks up and wants to know whether or not the gentleman in the kilt is regimental or not, he has to let her lift the kilt and look. And I'm going, we're not in Scotland, dear.
May not be in Scotland. You also not in Kansas, and well.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it don't get that windy. It's actually quite comfortable, and I have a nice cloak to go with it. I've got one shoulder pin on order, and then I've got another one left over from my SCA days that if I can figure out whether or not it's strong enough, I will use. But if not, there's always mail ordering more stuff.
True.
Which is weird when you figure getting a floor fix is going to cost me about 10 grand. And Lindsay's going, I've been saving money, and I go, good, keep saving money. I got this. I've been planning ahead. I knew I was going to have to do something here real shortly, and I was going to need a lot of lumber money. So yeah, even though part of what we're going to be paying for is the labor, since he's a contractor, he can get discounts at the lumber yards that are unavailable to a common peon like me. So, what is this? Messages. Ancestry, go away. All you want is money. I got a free ebook from a writer I have been reviewing and publicizing since the 1990s.
Nice.
And at the moment, she is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis really badly. And she has to have a mobility scooter to get around. And she's still typing despite that because she wants to re-edit all of her previously released books now that she has the rights reverted to her and put them out there for more people to get. And this is one where she was going to write a sequel to it, and I had won the rights to be a character in the sequel.
Nice.
And it was a charity thing. Somebody's house burned down, and I donated money, and I was one of the ones that got chosen to win this contest to be a character. She wrote a totally different book and put me in it as a character and put Lindsay in it as a character. Unfortunately, I was a bad guy this time. I was hoping to be a hero, but no.
You're a hero in your own story, Dan.
Not particularly this one. Let's just say I was a puppet of the real bad guys. I was misled, misinformed. I begged her that if she ever writes a sequel, please redeem my character so my wife doesn't divorce me. Yeah, she called one day to talk to me to get a feel for what kind of character I would be, and we talked for about 30 minutes, and then she wanted to talk to Lindsay, and phone call went on for about 3 hours after that. Guess who got to be the heroic character? Yeah, my beloved. But then you've met her. Well, Thesis hasn't, but he will one day.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And Foxy's going to look at her and go, I can see why Dan fell in love with that one. Am I in any way mistaken, Joe? Because
Nope.
you have met her. aside from the English accent, which she swears she wants to get rid of and nobody wants her to. She's just absolutely adorable.
I'm surprised Trey was able to show restraint and not just sit there and chat with her about crochet and everything
Well,
the whole time she was trying to set up her booth.
actually, Lindsay does knitting rather than crochet, although they could find common ground.
Yeah.
I think Lindsay has done some lace tatting before, and she goes, "This is hard." Yeah, I can see why nobody that still has a husband has time for this. It's one of those things where it's so painstaking in order to get everything right. And I have seen her knit a sweater and get almost 3/4 of the way through and go, "I dropped a stitch 2 days ago." And she'll unravel the entire thing to that drop stitch and do it over again.
Mm-hmm.
We had a neighbor, very famous psychologist, 2 driveways down, commission hand knitted sweater, and evidently she thought it would cost about the same as a Walmart sweater.
No.
No.
Lindsay just flat out told her, "Look, here's the cost of the materials. Here's the cost of my labor at minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it costs." The lady never asked for another sweater, but she's quite happy with the one she got. It made her look even better. And she's quite a shapely lady, even at her age. But no, yeah, when you figure in the amount of labor, anything handmade is going to cost a whole lot more than what you can pick up at a big box store.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that stuff's machine made. It may have human supervisors, but
For now.
I don't know how human some of those supervisors are, but
Yeah.
depends on the country of origin. Dad used to complain about having to use a computer-operated lathe. And then I said, "Dad, you know, you can tell the difference between something that's 1/1000th of an inch off just by eye because you've been doing this for 50 years. This thing can tell to 10,000ths and 100,000ths of an inch whether or not it's right. You tell it what to do, and you make sure it does what you tell it.
yeah.
That's it." But he griped about it because he swore up and down he could still do it better by hand than the machine could do. And knowing Dad, yeah, but there'd be a little bit of scrap left over. Have to go, there's a 10,000th of an inch too deep, and this is for the Air Force. We can't tolerate that. I remember one time when his boss bought a bunch of stainless steel and titanium on the cheap. Dad made all the parts exactly the way they were supposed to be made, exactly what the blueprints called for, and then it went out to be x-rayed, and the metal was full of microfractures because it was cheap shit. And Dad goes, I put that much time into making something perfectly good, but I didn't have the material that was good enough to do what I did.
Mm-hmm.
So boss had to eat that money, plus had to pay Dad to redo it once he'd bought stuff that was not cracked. I mean, Air Force don't care about excuses. You remember back in I don't remember whether it was the 70s or 80s, when cargo doors kept blowing off of, I think it was C-5As, and the planes would depressurize and crash.
Okay.
Dad made all the new door latches. Every single one of them. And he was very careful. I mean, one of his first jobs was working in Oak Ridge. You have to be very, very careful with that stuff. He actually quit the Y12 gas diffusion plant because it wasn't challenging enough to his skills. It was just basically cookbooking. Anybody could do that shit. So he goes, I'm going back to farming. At least I know what I'm doing there, and I've got something I can work with. Raising soybeans, that's a challenge right there. Turned out to be, yeah, it was. We had to build all kinds of stuff to go on the back of the tractor. Had an army worm invasion one time. We had to go out and spray everything to keep it from just getting mowed down. Those things would come through like a rolling carpet.
Ew.
Yeah, and they're just caterpillars. Thankfully, that was the 1 year Dad said, "Hell, I'm tired of growing corn. I'm only going to plant a little bit of it." Army worms got all the corn, but we were out there in the soybeans with a great big sprayer rig that Dad put together. And I tried to show him. Basically, it was geometry of how to, instead of using a cable to unfold them and fold them back up, use a hydraulic system to fold them and unfold them. But I wasn't able to illustrate the principle of that well enough to Dad. For all his skill, he's able to read blueprints, but he's not able to create them in his own head. And I couldn't do the math to figure out the right mounting points for the hydraulic cylinders where they do what we wanted it to do. So that was my lack of education there. I don't know that I'd be able to do it now without using some sort of a pantograph arrangement where little movements from the hydraulics would translate to bigger movements with the hinge pieces. But we were out there cruising around spraying half the county with basically bug spray. Had a 500-gallon tank on the front of the tractor. Dad built the frame and everything, bought the tank, got a PTO-driven pump, went exactly where you'd hook up a bush hog or something like that. And we'd just be going down the rows of plants, spraying about 18 to 20 feet at a time. And get to the end of the rows, try not to hit nothing with a tree as you turned around, and then make another pass going the other way and make sure everything got covered. And we were growing about 400 acres of soybeans that year. So we would have lost our ass if the armyworms had got them. Thankfully, it worked. And the damn framework for the tank and the pump and the sprayer was all junk parts. It was all just, scrap metal that Dad had strategically relocated to an alternate location. So it didn't cost anything. The only thing that really gave us fits was the sprayer nozzles, because we had to buy those, and they were very, very prone to clogging up. And so in order to keep going, it was easier just to unscrew those and screw a new one in and keep going, rather than flush the system and try and clean them out. I mean, he would try and unclog them later on, the ones that had been clogged up and we had to replace. But the aerosol nozzles were, the holes in them were very, very small, and it didn't take much more than a dust speck to clog one up. And driving a tractor through a field creates a lot of dust specks. So, yeah. Anyway. Adventures in Farming 101. Tune in next time where I give you even more boring tips.
And this is where we need Trey's little video of the more you know.
Hey, I'm a giant suppository of knowledge. To quote Mr. Spock in an outtake from Star Trek.
Yeah. Staying up late tomorrow is going to be hell.
What do you have to stay up late tomorrow for?
So I can try and sleep in on Saturday.
Oh.
Since I got the overnight work.
Yeah, Lindsay asked me today, did I think that I needed to go to the landfill and the recycle center on Saturday? I'm going, well, we had enough mail order delivered to where I've got enough cardboard to drop off at the recycle center. That would justify the trip alone. And we got 2 bags of trash, which probably fit in one of the large black bags. That's what they charge for, the large black bags. So throw that in their dumpster, walk back in the building, empty the glass, empty the plastic, empty the cardboard. Good to go. Probably spend $1. And one time she asked me, you think it'd be worthwhile for us to just put our trash out in trash cans and hire somebody to come pick it up? And I go, well, depends on whether or not you want to spend $1 to $3 a month or $15. Whether you have trash to take out or not. Failure to think it through, basically. It might cost me $1 in gas to go to the landfill and back. Duh. I was going to have to make a beer run anyway. Of course, I always have to make a beer run. It's amazing how 18 will only last 2.5 days. Of course, there have been days when I only had 6 left, and I opened one before I checked to see how many I had left. I go, well, 1 an hour it is then. And just nurse the buggers. I was at a restaurant one time over in the next county, and I'm going, oh, I really shouldn't have a beer with this burrito and refried beans and all this stuff, but I really would like a beer. They gave me one. 3 hours later, I still hadn't finished it. It was a bit warm, but, you know, Barkus is willing. I made it last, and because of the time that it took me to drink that one beer, I knew I was under the legal limit and wasn't going to get a DUI. Even in that county where DUI is a money maker for the county coffers. I'm surprised I haven't heard the cat scratching at the door to get in and get fed again for about the 8th time today. We got one. She's almost 19 years old. She'll come in, she'll eat 3 bites of food, then go hop on the bed and start yowling because it's 3 in the afternoon and there's nobody in the bed for her to snuggle with. She'll finally quieten down and take a nap and then get up and come get another 3 bites of food and go back to the bed and yowl again for a little while. But, you know, we're all getting on in age. Hey.
So I wish I had that kind of life. Be able to lay down in bed and yowl to have someone come snuggle.
Well, that's the problem. Lindsay and I just go, Hillary, you know it ain't even dark yet. And then once it gets dark, the dog starts trying to herd Lindsay to bed. And because of her broken collarbone, she's been having to sleep in the lazy boy instead of the bed. And the dog is going, what's the problem? It's dark. Let's go get in the bed. I got to tell you, the dog is one of the few people that daylight savings time does not affect whatsoever. It's daylight. She wants to get up. She wants to go outside. She wants to be fed. Then she'll lay down on the floor and sleep till it's afternoon. She wants to get fed again. And then once it starts getting dark, in the wintertime, which is quite a bitch because it gets dark at like 3 in the afternoon, dog starts trying to herd Lindsay to bed. She's in the middle of watching either Britcoms or Masterpiece Theater or something like that. I'm sitting back here. The door's open because I'm not on camera. There is a stream of invective that would make a Marine blush. A Royal Marine blush. And I'm going, I didn't know there was a hockey game or soccer game on. Excuse me, football.
Oh, I hope Lindsay doesn't watch this episode. Oh,
Lindsay doesn't watch any of these.
in that case, that's for the best, at least right now.
Oh no, she knows that I will watch her football, even though she refuses to spend money to hear it with an English announcer. She'll go on one of the Spanish channels where she can get it free, and she speaks Spanish, so it's just the old home week for her. And I'm getting to where I don't speak the language, but I pick up enough of the tone of voice where I'm going, oh, somebody screwed up. oh, this must be a goal. And walk in there and look, sure enough, it's a goal, or it's a foul that the fans are just shouting
So
about.
like the Indian campaign, we found
What was that?
I
And
think
it
he
popped up. I
accidentally.
was trying to stop, but didn't get to it in time.
Oh, okay. I started to say, my computer is talking to me and nobody's lips are moving. This is obviously a glitch in the matrix. Where'd I put that 9mm? Which is weird because I don't have a 9mm anymore.
I'm good with technology, but not that good.
Look, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm used to glitches in the fabric of reality. Matter of fact, I find them pleasant and invigorating. I've seen that black cat about 6 times already. I'm getting real tired of it. Somebody fix whatever you did wrong. Oh, Lindsay found this little tool which you can't see anything but the card. And she goes, is this something to use on your computer? And I go, yeah, that's basically an unfolded paper clip to trigger the safety mechanism on a powered down CD, DVD, floppy drive reader.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, I don't even have one of those. And I've got 3 or 4 right here. That reminds me, when Windows 10 forces everybody to Windows 11, I've got a perfectly good Windows 10 computer that I'm probably going to have to put some flavor of Linux on to keep using it. But I stopped using it several months ago when the what is this thing? It's a KVM switch suddenly stopped working because a dog was gnawing on the cables. And it was easier for me. It was easier for me to just plug up this computer directly to it and bypass the KVM so it couldn't switch back and forth between the 2 computers. And lo and behold, I found a printer swap switch as well. So now my printer works from this computer or that one when I turn it on, but I'd have to reconnect the keyboard and the mouse. And having two keyboards and two mice on this disk is much easier with the KVM switch. Much easier. And just bounce back and forth. I did find myself at one time trying to copy something on one computer, hit the KVM to go to the other computer and expect it to paste. That don't work.
Not like you hoped it would.
No, I wish it would work. I mean, but that calls for a much more complicated KVM switch than what I can afford to get.
Well, no, you mentioning that just reminded me that I have. I picked up a cheap wired keyboard today that I can hook up to the mini PC over there, and that way I can start playing with the Linux side of it.
There you go. Well, I gave Linux a little try years ago. My pirate friend in Kentucky is just basically a Linux evangelist. He's going, oh, you'll be able to do so much more stuff. Loaded it in, fired it up. I go, it's an operating system. I've used dozens of operating systems over the decades. And not only that, every time I want to run a program, I've got to download the latest copy of it and install it. Otherwise, it's not going to work as well. I mean, some are passable and don't get upgraded or redeveloped anywhere near as often. But it's just, if I wanted to do a command line structure only, I'd still be using DOS. I wouldn't have gone to Windows to start with. Hell, I had classes in DOS. Of course, I already knew more about DOS than the classes were teaching me. They were geared for somebody using a 10 or 12-year-old computer at work. I'm going, kid, I've been writing batch files to make all this shit easier. When my computer loads, at one time I had a security batch file in there, and I had a tower that had a key that would turn off all keyboard or mouse input. But I also had a grandson that had just discovered girly pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want him putting viruses on the machine. I was good enough at that myself. I didn't need somebody else doing it too. So I wrote a batch file where at the end of the startup, it pulled up this bright red screen. It said, preparing to format all hard drives. Press any key to continue. Without that key to turn the keyboard on, and he was scared to death to touch anything on the keyboard, but nothing he would touch on the keyboard would make any damn difference whatsoever. And I knew I had written the batch file. When it came up, he wasn't around. I just go hit any key and it would go ahead and start Windows. Of course, it was Windows 3.1.1.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So a buddy of mine, he used to have a DirecTV contract. He was an installer, and we would go through. We'd get like some of the old DVRs and stuff back. You know, people upgrading things like that, and certain ones they would want back, and then others they're just like, toss them. We don't really care. But he'd go through and take the hard drives out of them because they were
Mhm.
Western Digital hard drives. Well, we started playing around with them, and we couldn't figure out why, if we put it into the computer and powered up the computer, it wouldn't boot. Like, it wouldn't see the drive. So started doing a little research, and on those particular drives being used inside of DVRs, they had what was called the WD spin-up program. So as long as you could hook the drive into power on the PC and have its data cable into the DVR still, and have the DVR, powered up, it would trigger that program still, and the computer, once you unhook the data cable and plugged it in the computer would see it. So he actually found a copy of the WD spin-up that was bootable from a USB drive. So one of those drives, he had one drive that was just the operating system. That was it. Nothing saved on it. The other 6 drives that were in that computer were all out of old DVRs. And unless you had the USB drive and knew how to use that software via command prompt, you were never going to get into his files.
Actually, I had a friend of mine give me a DVR which sat on a shelf for years. And then I got a multiple drive enclosure and fired the bugger up. I wasn't interested in what was originally on the hard drive for the DVR. I mean, I knew my friend well enough to know our interests were divergent. What he wanted to record, not necessarily anything I want to watch. Different kind of programs entirely. Um, I was more interested in mysteries and whodunits and true crime and stuff like that. And he'd be watching um, not Masterpiece Theater, but something quite like that. So I just went ahead and formatted the damn thing. And that gave me another very small drive because there were just tiny drives in those DVRs. I think this one was like 20 gigs at the most. And I'm going, well, I can put photographs on there or I can put text on there. And I can put a hell of a lot more text than I can photographs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's in there somewhere. I don't even remember which bay the damn thing is in. But it turns out it's one of those Orico 5 bay external enclosures. and you can put full size hard drives in there. You can put the little half size hard drives in there.
Mhm.
You can put cards in there if you can figure out how to make it stay long enough to close the door. And I'm going, okay, well, that's about a terabyte, all of them included. And then I've got the other external drives scattered around, USB plugged into a USB splitter that's switchable, so I can turn them on as I need them, rather than have them all come on and overload the USB input output on the computer. And I've got a 3.5-inch floppy drive, external floppy drive, sitting there ready to go at a moment's notice. Just flip that USB switch and it powers on. And I don't even know if I have a 3.5-inch floppy that can be read nowadays, because oxidation is a thing. Hell, I've got a 5 1/4 drive somewhere. Don't have it hooked up. Wait a minute. Started to say, don't have it hooked up anywhere. Igor has a 5 1/4-inch floppy drive. I bet I don't have a single 5 1/4-inch floppy that is not completely, totally oxidized into uselessness. And it was back when I was able to build my own computers, and neighbor lady that ordered the sweater from Lindsay said, "Hey, I've got this old computer I want to get rid of. You want it?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "Take the hard drive out of it and destroy it. It has patient records on it. Nobody should ever be able to see those. It's not a matter of format it, because that's not secure enough. Even if you format it 2 or 3 times, somebody with a good enough rig in a shop can still reconstruct this stuff. I don't want that." So I took that hard drive out. I took it apart. Um, I tried to salvage the circuit board, but not the disk. The disk, I think I just threw it in the trash and took it to the dump. But incompatible parts, I wasn't able to repair any of the hard drives that I had that it had failed, mostly because circuit board went haywire in one little corner and won't work anymore, and nobody made that circuit board for me to get a replacement. So, I've got a bunch of dead hard drives in a box. I'd love to be able to afford to pay some data recovery service to pull all the crap off of there. Don't look at the girly pictures, just download them. Because at that time I was still in my 20s, so collecting girly pictures was
A hobby.
an avocation. I mean, I had printed a few of them off and wallpapered the inside of my locker at work with it, and other guys would walk up going, "Damn, is that Linda Carter?" And I go, "Well, it's Linda Carter's face, but the rest of it is a Photoshop job." And then they go, "Ooh, is that Mariah Carey roller skating naked?" And I go, "Possibly. I don't know. She's the kind of girl that would do that. I don't know if she's the kind of girl that let somebody photograph her doing that, but yeah." And then they go, "Oh, is that Xena?" I go, "Yep, that's definitely Xena. I've seen the video footage." She was singing, I think it was the Canadian national anthem, and at a some kind of sports ball game, or maybe it was hockey. I don't know. And let's just say her bustier could not contain her charms. And once she figured out what was going to happen anyway, she just leaned into it. Yeah. Here you go, guys. You wanted to look. Sorry, I'm into girls, but you can still look. And that was one of the most downloaded videos on the internet that year. As short as it was, but they were still photographs. But yeah, all this stuff. Anyway, I had the inside of my locker at work wallpapered with these different photographs, and had somebody walk up and go, "Why you got those there?" I go, "It's my burglar proofing system." I go, "What? What are you talking about?" I go, "Look, if somebody manages to pick the lock on my locker and open the door, chances are I'm going to come in 2 hours later and they're still going to be standing here."
Yeah.
I mean, when Stupefying Jones pops up, you ain't moving for a while. Okay, Thesis, that's a little Abner reference from way back when the movie was made in black and white. There are no color except colorized versions of it out there. It was filmed in black and white. And Stupefying Jones was played by a very young Julie Newmar. I mean, barely 20 years old. A man that can draw his eyes away from those hips ain't been born yet. It's like looking at photographs of Betty Page. She may be long gone, but anybody with more than half a brain functioning is still going to look. Beautiful lady. Lindsay's even bought me silk prints and posters and stuff of Betty Page. I mean, she's very early on came to grips that this is a woman that means more to me than any Hollywood starlet ever did. I mean, Marilyn Monroe, nah. Betty Page, yeah. And on one of the dead hard drives is a very extensive Betty Page photograph collection. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of images. Some of them no longer allowed to circulate because of Irving Klaw and his sister having a bad reputation. And I'm going, I don't care about their reputation. I just want to see the photographs. Hubba hubba. I may not know much about women, but I know what I like. We're getting down to the wires, guy.
Oh, yes, we are.
We got, 14 minutes left. Plug your work, gentlemen. I mean, I've already run commercials for me. The Tea House, Indie CD, people need to know about that stuff. So go ahead, do an
Jesus,
ad.
you're up.
Oh,
All right.
Tea House.
So I do a once a week stream on Saturdays where I discuss Chinese culture, martial arts, sometimes music. That's pretty much it.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the tonal differences between Western music and Chinese music because I know they use a different scale.
Yeah.
I can see. I mean, I can hear the sharps and flats. What to a Western ear would be sharps and flats, but they're not sharps and flats in a Chinese musical score. That's the different instruments being tuned in a different way and
Mm-hmm.
performing in a different way. I mean, it's not that it's not equally beautiful, but maybe to a European ear, it would sound dissonant as all get out.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just a different scale.
Mm-hmm.
And by scale, I mean musical scale. God help it. I can't stop analyzing music. You guys know what I do, so yeah.
Yeah.
And Joe, tell us about Indie CD.
So Indie CD is a website I started. God, it's be 3 years, I think, coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a great place to be able to find independent authors, artists, comic book creators, which include comic inkers, colorists, and writers, musicians, streamers, podcasters, photographers, videographers, toy makers, and a weather watching group. Plus a couple other categories that I'm probably forgetting that I would have to look at my little ending, credits that I run at the end of my show on Wednesday nights called Indie CDs Creatives at Play, where we have people on doing various crafts and
Animators. That's one, yeah, because not only is my niece one, but Mike Jimmy.
Yep.
I'm glad he's recovering nicely from the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
He got hit by a motor scooter walking to work one day, and had to have was it a hip replacement?
Mm-hmm. It's not an easy one to recover from. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, he
speaking
seems
of the
to be
devil,
doing
and he
really
shows
well.
up.
Yeah.
What?
Mike Jimmy's in the chat.
Yeah, we are just about 10 minutes away from calling quits, but yeah, you were on the bike. I thought you were walking and somebody with a scooter hit you, but
Either way, it'd really suck.
Yeah. Good Lord. Nick played the Life on Cora thing the other day, one day while I was actually in the chat, but it was like the last 10 or 15 minutes. I woke up just in time to see Never Mind the Furthermore end, and I go, there's no reason for me to interrupt the flow and tell people I'm here. I already said good morning the day before when I pulled up the file, but Yeah. And I'm just going, there's so many channels that play my music.
There's a couple.
Yeah. And then here's Mike Jimmy's Life on Cora. And I go, I'd love to keep working on that.
Mm.
That's just some of the best music I've ever come up with. Um, and believe me, I've come up with some pretty good stuff. But I like that full orchestral style where it's well, movie soundtrack sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Um, Yesterday, finally got to sit down and animate for a bit. You
Nice.
you get back into it slowly but surely. Oh, Mike Jimmy, it was my pleasure. Believe me, I would like nothing better than to not only have the intro at the time I did that, but to have other scenes while I was still in the groove to go with as well. And the thing is, the intro, there's no speaking parts. The characters don't talk. So when I'm doing a scene where characters are talking, music would have to be very, very low in volume in the background. And during switches and scenes where nobody's talking, it can swell up a little bit and then taper off. I mean, yeah. VFX. What kind of sound effects? It's not beyond my abilities to add special effects to music. I mean, there's all kinds of weather going on in the background of 10,000 airships and Invocation. Um, that's easy to do. And then there's the bonus track on Displaced Detective, which basically was um, public domain radio show of The Final Problem, starring Sir John Gielgud as Sherlock Holmes and Orson Welles as Professor Moriarty. And I did all the musical interludes, all the sound effects. There was one part where a carriage pulls up in a horse neighs. Well, there was no horse and carriage pulling away. So I started right after the horse neighs, reversed the file, and made it sound like the horse and carriage were pulling away. Well, you got 5 minutes. Of course, we can run a little longer. I mean, it doesn't matter. As long as Joe and Thesis don't have anything else to do, I've got plenty of beer left in the fridge.
So, one thing I may try and do the next time I stream, I might try and run OBS as my camera, because I have, like, when I'm doing my little one-off streams,
Mm-hmm.
I just run it through OBS to Twitch and Kick.
Mm-hmm.
That way the chat's popping up on screen. People can see, the chat and everything. So that way, if some people are watching on Twitch, some are watching on Kick, they can still kind of communicate. But I wonder if I run OBS as my camera through StreamYard, if the music will still come through.
Um,
And
I think
it will.
I think it will, because I was using OBS to do that. How I write music with this program video, and I had not only the music program up there, but the sound, and I don't remember what the second camera was. It might have been pointed at me. It might have been pointed at the keyboard. I don't know. Mike Jimmy is here. And
Hey, Mike.
Good morning.
yeah,
Welcome
I mean, I basically was running two cameras without a camera, because in place of the second camera was the screen of the music composition program I was using. So yeah, I do believe that you can get a soundtrack through that way. You can get the music to play that way. You might have to muck about with it a little bit, because OBS is one of those things where it has unexpected abilities that aren't entirely intuitive. And in that case, Uncle Carl is your friend.
That's the truth.
He can tell you how to make OBS stand up, pirouette, and jump through hoops.
No, but the idea of timing special effects, like sound effects, and I said VFX and I meant SFX, like stuff like that. Since you're doing the music already, and the storyboard is pretty much done, so it's been voice acted. A few lines need to be redone, but it's been voice acted, so it's pretty much ready to go on that regard.
Well, my problem is I would have to know when to damp everything down so that the voice acting would not be overpowered, and just do subtle stuff in the background, and then in between scenes ramp it up a little bit, but not overpowering. And sound effects, as long as I can get a hold of them,
Yeah,
it's fairly easy to drop sound effects into the musical score.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even have to change programs for that. Just call it up as a WAV file, or
no. The thing is, I could export the entire soundtrack of the voice acting, and that way you can actually just put it in your music program, and you can work on your music below that. Because it's fully video right now, but I can just export it as MP3 and I'll be done.
basically it would be, I'd be working on a split screen, watching the video and trying to figure out what music went with it on the other screen. And once I had an idea of the time limits, when it needed to be quiet, when it needed to be louder, and whatever sound effects needed to go in, I wouldn't even have to clockworking the animation is the thing. It's got to all match up with the animation. So I would have to make note of timestamps for every scene, every bit where they're not talking, they're jumping around, and it needs to be the sound needs to be a little bit stronger, not dramatically stronger, but just a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit.
exactly. And that's the thing. Like, if I give you the soundtrack for the whole voice acting, so from start to finish, why isn't this being? It's not really want to focus. It's been 6 months. I'm okay with that. If it like, that's the thing. I can open the entire pilot. So all the scenes and all the voice acting is all in one place, and then I only export the timed voice acting. You can use the video to look at the kind of feeling that you want for that scene, and then
Yeah.
you can use the voice acting timeline to actually make the music for the background music and the sound effects, etc. Because then you will know exactly when things are being said and what is happening.
Yeah. That's workable. That's very workable. It would be nice, but not essential to see the actual animation going on, so I can get a feel for. Oh, this is this. Okay, this is happy. This is sad. This is
Yeah,
weather. This is um, despair. This is elation. And a lot of that will come through from the vocal cues from the voice actors. But then again, the actual animation itself, even if it's not fully colored in, as long as it's timed correctly.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Let's see.
yeah, I'm a man of many talents, in case people haven't realized that yet.
If they haven't realized that, they've been living under a rock.
I haven't been paying
No,
attention.
I don't exactly hide my light under a bushel, but then I don't broadcast everything either. Um, Where do you see me cook? That's good. I've now got 2 cameras that I can record the Captain Dan's outdoor kitchen videos on. That's going to be fun trying to blend 2 different camera sources together, but that can be done.
So just out of curiosity, is music coming through for anybody right now?
I don't hear
No.
anything but voices.
Nope.
Hmm.
Oh, you're trying OBS? Okay. Wait a minute. I heard something just briefly there for a second.
For a second, yeah.
Oh, I heard a bass note.
How do I select everything?
So it's not really coming through all that loud.
Oh yeah, basic sound effects. Basically, it's what you're talking about is Foley work. Crunches and thumps and splashes and things like that. I'd have to find sound files that do that. And considering I'd only be able to look for them on public domain sound effects files. Some of them might have been used in the original King Kong movie for all I know.
Honestly, if it's
If it is non-copyrighted stuff, public domain stuff, I can use it. That's the way I was able to get away with the Gielgud and Orson Welles radio play. It was such a long time ago, nobody ever thought to copyright it.
yeah.
And somebody recorded, and I'm going, ooh, public domain. Ooh, I can do something with this. The hardest part is actually searching the individual sound effect. Yeah, folks, I was worried this was going to be like a 10-minute show, and it's turned out to be longer than 2 hours. So buckle up. Stay
Yeah,
close
that's how
to
it
the
goes.
stay close to the candles. The staircase may be treacherous.
Let's see.
And please don't say the lady's name and look out there and get the horses excited.
Luca.
You just had to say that. Now there's thunder going on outside. On cue, no less. You wake up my wife, I'm going to be nagged. Oh, hello. Good to see you again.
Oké.
Had jij de vraagopdracht gemaakt?
Nee, die hebben we nog niet gemaakt, anders zou die koud zijn bij de tijd dat ze wakker wordt.
Ja, oké. Oh, prima. Blijf gewoon lekker daar hangen. Dat is helemaal prima. Ik ga dat nu al horen eruit halen samen met haar ontbijter.
Helemaal goed.
Ja?
Ja, rustig aan die. Dankjewel.
How is Luce the baby?
So the short answer would be they're okay. But like the last 6 months really took a toll on all of us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like it's been rough. And
well, I know for a fact that stress is never good for a family.
no, it's taken a toll on us, especially with having to live with my mother-in-law for 6 months. And don't get me wrong, like she was absolutely wonderful, but we had no privacy. But I could move in a wheelchair there for the entire day. And go to the actual bathroom in my wheelchair and go, into the living room and everything. But there, you couldn't go anywhere. And especially with the first couple of weeks, it was rough because I wasn't doing well. I don't do well on medication.
I understand completely.
So it took a toll on us, and yeah, like we're slowly settling in. It's finally starting to feel like a house. So welcome to the attic. Yeah. So this is the new setup behind me.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes.
over there is part of the actually let me pull you up. That is part of the bookcase that I built in 2023.
Nice.
And so I got my art desk. I got my normal desk. I have my printer right beside me as well. It's gigantic. Like this place is twice the size of our apartment with 2 stories. So you got downstairs, we got a huge living room, so Aurora can just run around, do everything. Then we got 3 bedrooms. The biggest bedroom is um, bigger than Lucer's smallest apartment that she ever lived in. And then we have an attic that is massive. So yeah, we're still going to add an extra table because Lucer's like, yeah, I want somewhere that I can actually work on sewing stuff. And well, we can. Like, there's space. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 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 um it's a silver lining. So
Your art table looks an awful lot like the drafting table that Dad had, and Mom demanded that I bring back because it disappeared when I moved out, and she knew I was the only one that moved out. So that
this
mystery was
was
not easy to solve, or not hard to
um
solve. But yeah,
this one was not even that expensive. So I bought it new. Or actually, my dad gave it to me as a birthday gift. It was only 150 euros. So I'm incredibly
that's
happy with it.
awfully good quality for an art table.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
yeah.
that's high end right there. Yeah.
So it's not the biggest. It's like 80 by 120 centimeters, which
Yeah.
is honestly great. Like it's bigger than A2. You know, I can do A1 on this, um, and it works for me. Like it's honestly like yeah, it doesn't have an electric, you know, the valve to not valve. It's not electric, so I have to pull it up. Who cares?
Hmm.
It's great.
Just undo the little things on the side, raise it up, tighten them back
Oh no,
up.
no, no. There's just one hinge that I can use to pull it up, and then I bring it all the way back down, and then I can just click, click, click. It works.
Well, the one I have, you could have the one I had that belonged to Dad that Mom's got now that she uses for her artwork. Um, it would actually go from a sitting height to a standing height, as
Oh
well as
yeah,
tilt. Um, and it, like I said, Dad bought it to read blueprints off of. So he'd tack stuff on there and go, okay, I've got to make this part. Okay, that's measured in thousandths of an inch. I can set the lathe up to do that by eye. That's measured in 10 thousandths of an inch. Gonna have to get the micrometer out of the toolbox for that one.
yeah.
And yeah, um, machinists, nobody really realizes how much detail machinists put into their metalwork. I mean,
Yeah.
they're basically um, blacksmith wizards.
Yes.
Now I've got an easel that I thought was just um, a camera tripod. Turns out it's an art easel.
No, I can believe that. Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that when I bought it, but it's going to come in handy one of these days. When I finish the fantasy novel, I want to do an oil painting for the cover because I know exactly what I want to do. I've done some preliminary sketches. Um, they're not good enough, but I know me. I will turn the raw idea into actual details later. I've even got a light table to put on the easel and tape the raw drawing to it with tracing paper underneath so I can transfer the drawing to an actual canvas
Hey.
for,
Yeah.
for the painting. I get old school every once in a while. I mean, I'm going to get the paintbrushes out. I'm going to buy a whole new supply of oil paint because everything I've got almost 40 years old without having the tubes been open. So I just need to toss all of that and start over again with fresh stuff. But yeah, I will be doing every single feather on that crow's body and every single hair on that cat's body.
Oh, masochism at its best.
I have to work that way.
It'll
Even
be,
if you
yeah.
can only see it with a magnifying glass, I'll be sitting there with the jewelry workers magnifying glasses, going, okay, here's a 000 ink pen instead of a 000 brush. This is how I put shadows on each individual hair. Um, Believe me, I know myself. There's no way that I'm going to be able to do less than incredible. Oh, yeah.
God,
I
that looks so
mean,
good.
Oh,
I
yes,
can
it
relate.
does.
So this is my old new project, Sage of Sunset. My mouse isn't working. And
No,
yeah,
all the line shading that you're doing.
yeah, cross hatching.
Yep. I'm used to that from 1930s, 1940s science fiction
Oh yeah,
illustrators.
yeah, and it's still
And
being very much used today.
oh yeah, and it's but only by the people that really want to put in the work.
Not really. It's more common than you think, but what a lot of people do is do hatching, so they're only going one direction, and I don't have too much of it. So, like here, you got the one page that is more horizontal. Then, because it's moving, it's a little less. It's a little more
Hmm.
curvy. And so, what they'll do is they'll try and move along with the fabric or whatever material they're looking at.
Yes.
And here, I tried to do charcoal. I'm not sure if it worked, but I'm okay with the fire. And if you really want to be a masochist, start stippling. Just dots. So many dots.
Oh
So there's some
my sweet
people that's
summer
how they do
child.
wood. That's how they do wood burning. Is stippling,
Yeah,
and
I
it
can
looks
imagine.
phenomenal. And I keep saying I'm going to do it someday. And then I think about sitting there and
Mm-hmm.
doing all these little dots because I know I wouldn't pick something simple to do it with. I do like the yin yang wolf that's massive and has, about as much black as that page there.
Yeah. And
um,
apparently, I have to split all the audio by hand. So this is going to be fun. Hey, why doesn't that have barb? Oh.
well, you're talking to someone who got his best grades in art college doing pointillism with a
Yeah.
000 Kuinar pen, which does not like pointillism at all, but
No.
it's the best thing for it. But within a month, you're going to have to buy a new pen because the old one, the nib is no longer functional because you punched it onto the paper too many times.
I before I started using the dip pen, I would work with should have them around. Let's see. There we go.
Hey,
The Copic
Daniel Berry,
multiliners. There we
good
go.
to see you.
Copic multiliners, and this is a 0.005, so I fully get you.
Hmm.
Um, these are not made to press down on. Like they're
Oh,
How you doing, Daniel Berry? So, like, they're not made to press down on, right? And they're €5 each. They were back in the day, like 2010 already. Like, I'm pretty sure they're like $7.50 at this point.
Well, the ones I was getting at University of Georgia, either in the bookstore or at the there was an art supplies and lumber yard downhill from the art school. Basically, you just had to go down 2 flights of stairs and you were there. And they had the same stuff, slightly different prices on things, but those pens were about $10 a piece in the 1970s. And I'd go through about one a month. The worst part was having to reload the cartridge, because they were like a nib pen. They had to have an internal cartridge of ink.
Oh yeah.
They weren't like a felt tip that had some enclosed thing, and when it was worn out, you tossed it. No, you could refill that as long as you were not pounding
Not an idiot.
away on the
Yeah.
paper doing pointillism, because that's very rough on that particular style of pen.
Yeah.
But I needed that to do the amount of stippling that I was doing, so I could do 3D effects as well as coarser outlines and things. And I kept getting these amazing grades for stuff. I'm going, ooh, I could have done that a whole lot better.
Mhm.
I was in a hurry because the project had to be due by a certain date for class. And the professor walked by and go, "You're making me look bad. You know that?"
Mhm. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people tend to forget that you see all your flaws,
Mm-hmm.
and they're
Well, that was actually her way of giving me a compliment.
oh yeah, no. That's the thing. Like, that was an actual compliment. Well, like, but while they're saying that, you're like, yeah, but I can see this is wrong and that is wrong and this sucks. What are you talking about? Making you look bad. Like, you got more experience than me. What do you mean?
Here's where the pen died, and I had to go buy another one. That's why this line under here is darker than the one up there. Yeah. The project was due. I had to turn it in. It's half finished, but you set the deadline. I didn't. I just chose the most difficult way to do anything.
I'm only now realizing my microphone is all the way over there. How well am I being heard?
We can hear you absolutely clearly, or
Yeah.
at least I can.
Huh.
Good microphone.
Yeah, no, but it's literally like pointing away from me as well, like right there.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's picking you up perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. If you
I'm
got
not
it
gonna
if you got it any closer, you'd be shouting at us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm genuinely surprised. Let's see.
I actually like seeing the contrast between the animation cells and the waveforms of the sound of the voice actors. I'm just going, ooh, okay. Yeah, that's why I hated it when my copy of Audacity upgraded itself And now I can't do half of the stuff that I used to be able to do just automatically.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. Like let me see how loud this is for me. Don't start it because it's gonna be really loud otherwise. 'Cause-
No, I've already pulled it off the screen. It's just sitting back there going, add to stage.
yeah, no, exactly. Like
If you
'cause
want me to pull it back up, I can.
no, I normalized everything, so some things are gonna be a little too loud, especially when Nita is talking. She's very good at that.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all good. Even the loudest things are, I'm wearing full headphones, so it's gonna be a little louder, but it should be okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but you get to hear all the nuances that way.
let's see.
I can't mix music with this headset. I've got to go for the full stereo. Um, Cut my ears and drown out everything else noise to be able to mix things. Because if I don't do that, when I got a piece of music I'm trying to mix, Lindsay has to hear it on infinite repeat for like 2 days. And
Let's see.
bless the woman, but I don't know how she puts up with me. Because sometimes I need to hear what it sounds like through speakers, and sometimes I need to hear what it sounds like through headphones so I can
Oh,
get
absolutely.
every nuance in there.
Where are
And I'm
you on
going,
YouTube?
nobody's ever going to listen to this through headphones. Then I find out a lot of people do. That's the only way they can hear everything.
Oh yeah. Like one of the funniest things for me is when I found how, let's see, pilot episode, how many little Easter eggs were put in Dragon Ball Z Abridged when it came to let's see, voice acting for Dan. When you put on headphones, because I always listen to it with just my speakers, and then I did a commentary on it, and I figured out like, yeah, they do a lot of left and right things.
Yeah. Joe, I don't know if you've ever listened to 10,000 Airships or Invocation through headphones. Or as Stephanie said, if you were listening to Displaced Detective and you're just using speakers, you're missing 50% of the sound.
Okay.
Because
Now, I listen to most everything through the headphones because otherwise, the only thing I have down here for sound is either coming through the speaker built into the Mac, the little home AirPod that I have back there, or the crappy speaker built into one of the two monitors on the game machine, which I don't know which one has the speaker.
Fair enough.
I just know occasionally I'll be sitting here going, I hear, man, this sounds low, and I'll be turning up the volume on the headset for the computer behind me. Why is it not getting louder? And I'll move the earpiece off and go, oh, it's coming from a monitor. Fuck, I gotta figure out my sound settings. God damn it.
works that way sometimes. But yeah, I've got USB headset. Doesn't even have a microphone, but it covers my ears, and I can crank it in there, and I can turn off all the boosts and
Yeah,
the filters and stuff that the computer would normally throw in.
Mm.
So I'm hearing the raw sound. And I mean, when people listen to 10,000 Airships and they don't realize that's some of the orchestral parts are like 47-part harmony between the instruments. Not a single vocal, but it's like there's trumpets, trombones, tubas, French horns, oboes, clarinets, and it's there's nothing more satisfying than working with a whole orchestra and being former concert band, jazz band, marching band, actual musician, and then working with Jim Parnell and Dave and some of the other guys that I actually had to toss out of my house because I'm tired of having a bunch of drunks hanging around. Oh, hi, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Evening, well, morning, Nick.
Let's see.
Yeah, really, you're up late. Well, glad to have you here. Yeah. When you've got an entire orchestra at your fingertips and the magic is flowing, I mean, you can't do everything on the fly like you'd want. With this program, I'm restricted to pre-recorded patches of instruments that are, really short things, and I have to piece together into something longer. Or in rare instances, there are things when I can actually customize a sound that the patches don't have. A keyboard, a drum pattern. Never tried it with saxophones or trombones or anything like that, but I really need to do that with piano and maybe harp.
I sent you the voice acting already, Dan, in Facebook Messenger. I'm uploading the pilot work in progress as well, so I'm going to share that afterwards. And then, yeah, I'd love to see what you do with it, because yeah, I'm going to be honest. My discipline and my interest in Love and Korra as a whole kind of dropped last year. Last 2 years at this point.
Well, yeah, getting hit by somebody on a scooter kind of does that to you.
Well, no, even before that. Like the thing was, I always used art to fill up a space that that needed filling. It was my love. It was my social life. It was something I did because I needed to escape, and I don't have to escape this life anymore. Like, I have a wonderful wife. I have a beautiful child. I have a very happy home for the most part. I mean, it's been rough, but for the most part. And yeah,
if you'll forgive an old man for stating, once you have a child, everything changes. and you
Oh
have
yeah.
to reevaluate everything you've been doing your whole life and go, wait a minute, child comes first, wife very close second, me, I don't matter that much. Work, it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah,
Um,
and like the thing with Lava Core 2 is like at this point I like Lava Core 7. I am okay with what came out of it. I could have done so much better. And like I really went with good enough just to finish, and I think that um it shows that I needed a break from the series. I needed a break from art. Um yeah, no, like exactly. If reality is great, why would I want to escape it? Um
yes, and this one touches home.
mhm.
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, I got scripts ready to go, for ages still. And I don't want to let go of the series because it is something I'm very proud of. But with Love and Chorus 7, with the Bond, I at least left on a high note, or at least high enough where I can say this is mine, and I still feel this is mine. And when starting on 8, like Luce immediately went, I'm sorry, but you're using like you're stuck. You're stuck in your own way. You're stuck in your own style, to a point where it's detrimental for the story. And she's right. I don't want to hear it, but she's right.
yeah. Tell me about it. The last time Lindsay read one of my manuscripts, oh my God, I've never had a harsher critic in my
Mhm.
life. But yeah, she was
Look,
right.
behind
She
every
was.
single successful man, there is a very critical woman.
That makes them buy a boat and go fishing more than they actually work on their work. Yeah. Uh,
Yep. No.
no, I know why my dad bought a boat. Uh, it's the
No,
only way to get away from the farm and just feel nature on your skin and
no, that's one of the
maybe catch something to eat, but
that
that's
that's
that's a secondary benefit right there.
that's one
That
of the biggest things that I love about this place. There is a forest 10 minutes walking away from here, whereas I used to have to drive for 20 minutes, either on bike for 30 or with my car for 20 minutes to just get out. I
uh,
I walk to the nearest roundabout, I turn a right, and I walk into a forest. I am, yeah, I am so glad with that. And I can still barely walk properly. I use Aurora stroller as a crutch, um,
mhm.
because it helps. But
Lindsay uses shopping carts now that she's got a broken collarbone.
yeah, like
I mean, I try and push it for her. She goes, "No, I can push it with this hand. This is in a sling. Let me do this."
and that's the thing too. Like because it took so long for me um to get my surgery. There's a huge wobble in my step because my muscles are gone. Like it's awful, and I'm
I
getting
had
there. I got my physiotherapy, and then they're doing a great job, but it's there's a
I
wobble in
had
my step. I waddle. It's awful.
I had the same thing when I had tibial plateau fracture, and now I've got 2 titanium screws holding my knees together, although it's healed. And I looked at the X-rays, and I looked at the doctor and go, "Well, damn! If it wasn't for the anesthesiologist, I could have done this shit myself. I got a power drill. It's a Phillips head. Jeez." Um, but now I have to be careful walking through airport metal detectors. They usually have them high enough to
Yeah,
beat
titanium gets
on the
steam.
pins in my knee, on the screws in my knee. Yeah.
Yeah, like the worst thing I have to not think about when I'm thinking about the surgery is they broke off the head of my upper leg bone
Mm-hmm.
to jam that thing in there, and I'm going, well, thank fuck I wasn't there for it.
Hmm. Did you have the thing where the anesthesia lost you a day
Oh no
with the
I was
memories?
out for about 4 hours.
Well, same with me, but um, the day before, my short-term memory had not transferred to my long-term memory.
Mm.
The anesthetics erased that, and my friend that was driving me around to the different doctors was going, "You don't remember yesterday? You told that doctor off something fierce that you wanted a second opinion." I mean, he was going to operate on my hand and leave my leg alone. We went to the orthopedic clinic, the one that works on the football players for University of Georgia. He goes, "Your hand will heal fine. I don't have to do anything to that. We got to fix your knee."
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah.
And that first doctor was really pissed. Evidently, I cussed him a blue streak up one wall, across the ceiling, and down the next wall. And I don't remember a word of it because that was the day before I had the surgery done. So
No,
yeah, I lost an entire day.
I
But
mainly lost. Like I know I was grumpy the first couple of weeks after the accident, but I was on oxycodone and naproxen and the whole shebang for 4 weeks straight.
yeah,
I don't do
and
well on opiates. I'll admit that because God, I get grumpy. But
they
yeah,
do change your personality a little bit while you're on them, and then when you wean
get
yourself
off.
off of them, you go, "Oh fuck, what did I do?"
Yeah, I know. I don't remember half the conversations, but like that was not great. Um, and I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, I don't remember half of it, and that bothers me even more. But yeah, the idea that and especially at first, like I know better at this point because I'm feeling better and it's getting there. But
Well,
the
Nick
just
is
not.
continually giving you compliments here.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I know, and thanks, Nick. You're great yourself as well, and let nobody tell you otherwise.
yeah, we almost all of us have realized that healing from a major injury of any kind is one of those things that it never goes away, but as it slowly fades further into the background, you realize this is not me at my best.
No,
Thank you for putting up with me. Oh, I did want to say, Jimmy, you would absolutely love the property I own back here.
I can
All
imagine. I've heard you talk about it.
All I have to do is open one of the gates in the chain link fence and walk about 10 steps, and I am in a trackless wilderness, only traveled by Cherokee Indians for a couple hundred years until settlers took it over. I mean, seriously, it's not exactly a virgin forest anymore, but it's one of those places where if you walk far enough back, you cease to believe in civilization. And you're going, did I bring a sleeping bag? Did I bring a tarp? I think I've got enough stuff to build a fire on my own.
One of the
I'm
Well,
sorry,
gentlemen,
Kitty. I'll have to fill up the bowl.
I gotta dip out of here, so
Right.
I will see you all next time.
Take
Yeah,
care,
me
Joe.
too.
Thank you
seeing you,
very
Mike.
much for sticking around, both
Yeah.
of you.
Very much appreciated, and well, I love hanging out with you guys. So it's been too long again.
We need to get you on a closer time zone. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
That or we need to come to your time
I mean,
zone.
to be fair,
One of
it's
the two.
7 a.m. right now. So like this is my early morning, and I told like Luce woke up. Like Luce forgot to turn off her alarm, so it went at 5 this morning, and we both just went, I can't sleep anymore. And then I was like, wait, it's Friday, so Dan should be up. And I was like, oh, you're still up. Well, I might as well just hang out.
yeah, really.
Exactly, Nick.
And yeah, Nick, I've got a lot of work to do outside tomorrow.
Good luck.
Well, I've got to go to the what do you call that? That's international. I've got to go buy a new screen door.
Hardware store.
Hardware store. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's I'll have to go to Lowe's and pull the damn thing off the shelf. I don't need the framework. I just need the door. And because the old one,
Yeah, I know.
it swallowed paint like well, if you've ever seen Green Acres, there was an episode where he painted the house and then he could hear it groaning because the wood on the house couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
So it just sucked in the paint, and all the wood around it was fine, but the door itself did not fare so well.
Yeah.
So I've got it's only a matter of 8 screws and undoing a spring and putting the new one in place, redoing those same 8 screws, and putting a little wall hook in there for the spring to fasten onto. I probably will go for a new spring as well because that one's about 20 years old.
Yeah, it's probably time to just replace that too.
Yep. And then we've got a contractor coming by. He's going to pressure wash and Clorox the entire framework of the screened-in porch and repaint it for us.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he's also going to fix the floor where this 60 some odd year old house is starting to sag in the middle.
Mm.
They will do that.
Yeah.
Do you have
Um,
like a fireplace or something in the center there, or like where it's no? Okay,
refrigerator and water heater.
that can do it too.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a lot of weight there. Um,
But I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Take care.
all right. I guess I really ought to just go ahead and call it a night too.
Yeah, that's so good. No worries.
Oh, that's okay. I got the message. I got the alert for the message, so I'll be able to listen to that, and if there's any video applied to it, I'll be able to watch that too, even if it's just sketches. It'll give me an idea. And
No, it's so the pilot with the video is just a video file with the sound added as well. So you have like most of it is still storyboard and really rough sketches. But there's a couple of finished scenes as well. I'm further with the progress than what is actually in this one. I still need to replace some of them, but I just haven't yet. But,
it'll be all right. The audio will give me enough clues to know where things have to be
yeah,
quiet and when things can ramp up a little, but not overpowering. Because that's the thing with a soundtrack. You have to have this balance between what's on the screen and audio cues as to when to build up tension
yeah.
and when to celebrate and when to go time for the next scene.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I don't know how long it'll take.
Trust me, this isn't being built in a day either. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah. Um, I've got a lot of carpentry to commit. There's a lot of stuff I've got to do outside. Like I said, I've got to finish up the barbecue grill area so that I can start filming me cooking outside. I really can't do an awful lot of that until Lindsay's dentures are done, so she can actually eat what I cook.
That would be nice.
Yeah, especially since she's my best critic. Um, how does this taste, baby? Like bean paste.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, because without teeth, it's hard to put anything crunchy in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, um, she had dental surgery about 4 weeks ago, and the pain meds they prescribed for her was probably a little too strong for her mass and metabolism. And she was going down the hallway in the dark to go to the bathroom and tripped over the dog
Oh no.
because the dog likes to sleep in the darkest part of the hallway.
Of course.
And I got her up and she went to the bathroom and fell down again, broke her collarbone,
Oh.
and her Medicare has not started yet, and since I'm retired,
Oh,
that's the only insurance we can get, and mine won't cover her. But we got to wait till December for her 65th birthday when her Medicare will kick in. So, and she's a former nurse. She goes, I know exactly what would happen. We go to the emergency room. They give me $10,000 worth of
mm-hmm.
X-rays and CT scans and all this, and then they would give me a sling and tell
Yep.
me to sit in a lazy boy for 6 weeks while it healed.
And you're
And I go,
10,000 in debt.
yeah. And I went, well, we can save that $10,000 since you know exactly what would happen. So
Mm-hmm.
let me go down to the drugstore at the county seat and buy a sling. And bingo, we're in business and save $10,000.
Yep.
The little old ladies at church are going, why didn't you go see a doctor? And I go, because every doctor bill cuts a month off of my lifespan. Because
Yeah.
when the money runs out, I need to die.
Yeah.
Otherwise, neither one of us get to eat ever again. And they're just, oh no, you can live off Social Security. And go, Social
No, you don't.
Security ain't gonna pay the grocery bills. Social Security's not gonna pay the utility bills. It'll make a
No.
dent in them, but without my pension,
I'm so glad I
uh,
live in the Netherlands sometimes, especially right now. But that's a whole different story. It. I just feel sorry for you people. It's awful. Like it's so weird.
well, we have great medical care. It's entirely too expensive.
It's entirely too expensive, and not enough people have access to it.
Well,
It
because it's entirely too expensive.
no, but
It
like even your insurances are ridiculous. Like we think in the Netherlands like they're stupid. Like Luz and I pay nearly 400 euros for our medical insurances, but like and combined like 385 or something.
mhm.
So about $400 at this point. Um, but I can go through the physiotherapist twice a week. I had my entire operation paid for. I can go to a doctor and it will be free for me. Um, Medication, don't have to pay a dime. Yeah, unless it's very specific and the insurance really doesn't cover it. Like it's not too shabby to live here. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
And yeah, like even like my contract is ending. Like my contract with my previous job is ending in 3 days. They're not gonna continue it because I'm not gonna be able to work for another 9 months. Um, so I go to social income, which means it's 70% of what I used to make, and the other 30% is going to get out of the guilty party's insurance automatically. The
Mhm.
entire move to this place got covered by the insurance company. Ooh, ooh.
Yep. Oh,
Hold on, let me get you off of. There we go. We can go and say hi. There we go. You're on speaker.
she is absolutely beautiful.
Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Oh, I can't. Oh, hold on. Let me fix
Good
that.
to see you again.
There we go. Now we're rolling. Yeah. Is he hi?
Yeah. I remember when I had grandchildren that small. Um, all of my children, I had to marry their mothers in order to get them. So never got to raise them. They were usually teenagers by the time I met them the first time, but grandchildren I did get to raise. And she's
Yeah,
just
they're fun.
absolutely adorable.
Yes, she is adorable. But she's also very naughty.
She's
Well,
been.
she's a girl. What do you expect? She
Yeah,
knows
yeah,
she's
yeah,
going to
but
get
she's
away with everything all of her life.
Oh,
Yeah, ga je rennen, kind?
so.
Oh, and she's walking too. Oh my
Yeah, no,
God.
she's walking and
For a
running.
while. Yeah, yeah.
She started walking at 11 months. So that is
Oh,
one.
wow. That's
So
amazing. Yeah.
she will actually climb into that, and there's colored pencils on the table, and she can just go color.
That's wonderful. That is absolutely
She
wonderful.
she is so amazing, and yeah.
Can't wait for her first comic.
Ja, baby. Kom maar.
This is a I want to draw.
Even.
I remember one kid I grew up with. He never used anything but a black pencil and a black crayon. Did us all his drawings that way. Turns out he's totally colorblind.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
He sees everything grayscale. Or this was
Yeah.
like almost 50 years ago. But he saw everything grayscale, so he was good at doing what he saw, but what he saw was not colors.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too. Like 50% of the male population is partially colorblind or fully colorblind. A lot of people forget that, and like partially colorblind can be I don't see magenta to my blue is green and my red doesn't exist.
Hmm.
To yeah, I only see grayscale. Yeah,
And here I am. I had a color theory teacher that was amazed that I could see finer gradations in color than she could. And I'm going, well, my mom is a professional artist. I've been taking lessons all my life. Just because you can't tell this very light green from this very light green doesn't mean I can't. Put on your monochrome monocle and look at it. You will see that they are actually different colors.
Oh, for sure.
And she did. And she goes, you are weird. And I'm going, thank you. That's the nicest thing that anybody's ever said to me. Had an English teacher that called me eccentric, and I'm going,
There's worse
I'm,
things.
I'm not even old enough to drive a car. I'll accept that as a compliment. Thank you.
Let's see, let me show a little bit more. There we go. Yeah.
She's
All right.
sweet. And it's nice to see Luce again, too. Really.
She's back here looking at addresses to send our moving notice to.
Well, all three of you have been missed. I mean, seriously, but drop stuff on the floor and then go, Mommy, pick it up.
Oh, no. She goes boing.
She goes boy and pick it up herself.
Ja, ga maar pakken. Ja, dat kan jij.
Je kan gewoon pakken.
Je kan doen dat. we go.
You dropped it, you pick it up. That's a good life lesson. Um, Sweet girl. Yes, you are. And that curly hair. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's definitely getting more and more curly. It's
You're lucky some of the other ladies in the group aren't in here. They'd just be oohing and awing and offering to babysit from from across an ocean. Um,
no, it's like that's one of the biggest privileges that my accident has given me. Like I'm able to see her grow up a lot.
that
And,
is one of the accidental, if you'll excuse the pun, benefits is to not be distracted from your child's formative years.
No, the thing that really took a toll on me right after the accident was that she was learning to walk. Like she would
Moet ik je aanschuiven, Aurora?
maybe take 1 or 2 steps.
Oké, kom eruit. Kom zitten.
And then hang on to something. And yeah, hi.
And suddenly you found yourself in the same situation.
Well, the thing is, like, I couldn't walk at all. I was in a wheelchair. Like, the doctor said, you got to sit down. Period. So like running around with her, and teaching her to walk and support her, couldn't do any of that, and that really took a toll on me.
Yes,
really did not
that
help.
that will do a number on your ego. Oh, sweet girl.
Ooh,
No, don't play with the computer.
Oh, yes, she does.
Like, so I'm just
Ik
gonna.
ga even onder de zenuw.
Ja, helemaal goed. Mama is zo terug. Mama plassen.
Ja.
Jo. Jo. Yippie. Oh. Hold on.
I know who your next crosshatch artist is going to be.
There we go. And now, ta-da! Yeah.
Hello. I don't know if you can see me, but I hope so.
Oh, yeah, she can. She can.
I remember when you were just a baby in diapers. Of course, you're still in diapers and you're still a baby, but this was a teeny tiny one.
No, we started potty training earlier this week. She is. Hey. Hold on. 2 seconden, liefie. Heel even. Ja.
Hey, Dad needs that. Don't mess with it.
Yo. No, we started potty training earlier this week. She started saying when she needed to go to the toilet. So, hey, let's go. Yeah.
Hey, that's all part of the process.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're a big girl. Yeah.
You got a wave for me? Hi. And who's this mysterious bearded old man on the screen?
No, you got a beard. You're cool. Like the bearded people are fine. It's the clean shaven ones that she's going. Dad, are those okay? Wow.
Yeah.
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 Oh, yes, wave. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My favorite thing is when we're out on the street. She's very social. She loves people. And we are living right next to a school now. So once
Oh,
in a while, you'll have an entire class driving on bicycles, and the first thing she does when those kids are coming up is,
I just actually realized she's going to grow up bilingual,
yeah,
and
no,
that's incredible. I love that.
It's such a big step ahead for her. And it's a very big it's a very big extra, like you give them such a big head start because
You really, but she's not going to notice that
no,
it's. I mean, it'll be normal for her to speak the same way you and Luce do at home, and then English on the side, which is not one of the easier languages to learn because it's such a stupid language to start with. I
well,
mean,
Dutch is too, so let's be honest, on that regard they're pretty much the same, but the thing is, like, when they're this small, they're just being talked to. So they don't care if it's English or Dutch or
mhm.
German or whatever you want to teach them. If they understand that one word is the same as the other in a different language, they're going to be able to talk
Yeah,
in that language.
their mind is not even going to have to shift gears. They'll just
No,
know it.
exactly.
That's one thing I'm very envious of my wife. Her first language is Spanish. Her second language was British English, and then she learned American English. Then she hooked up with me, and she had to learn Southern Redneck. And when I drink too much, she has to learn Jack Daniels, where it's just one long vowel movement. But, yeah. Um, and my neighbors, she can understand them perfectly, but because she speaks so precisely and Britishly English still, they can't comprehend what she's saying. I mean, she asked for tomato on a sandwich. They don't even recognize the species of the plant, much less what she's talking about.
No,
Half the time they're just sitting there going, I could listen to you all day. I don't understand a word of what you're saying, but I can listen to you all day. Oh,
don't be such a drama queen.
I know a fake cough when I hear one. I'm a grandfather. You
Exactly.
can't fool me.
Yo. Come on. Yeah.
All right. It's probably about time I ended the stream. It's gone on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Uncle Carl's gonna complain mightily about this, but then by the time he gets this far, he'll understand. Yeah. Aurora, good night. I'm in a different time zone, so it's bedtime for me, even though it's just morning for you. It's bedtime for me. And thank you for popping in, Mike Jimmy. Really appreciate it.
I really want to
Really
hang out
appreciate
with
it.
you guys more because it's doing my creative mind a lot of good to hang around with creatives again and seeing the support. I want to pick up Hung and Animation again. And I'm just figuring out when that's going to be. It's probably going to be a Tuesday, because then Aurora is at daycare, and that is my only day not being a dad.
You're always a dad.
Yes, I'm always a dad.
Yeah, but it's nice to be able to take a vacation day every once in a while, even if it's only a half day. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Dag, dag.
And give Luce a big hug from everybody over here. Because, y'all have gone through a lot and you're still together. That's good. That's more than some folks over here on this side of the pond would have put up with.
It took a lot. Aurora, nee.
It takes a lot from everybody in the family to make sure everything's still working.
Je moet maar kijken.
All right, I'm going to switch over here and play the end credits and close everything out. Thank you, Mike Jimmy. I have missed you, and I hope your health continues to improve. It has done so quite rapidly, which is
for this kind of operation. That helps.
Well, and it's a testament to European doctors being a little bit less stick in the mud than U.S. doctors, and the lack of how much can I charge for this Band-Aid? Yeah, $200 for an aspirin.
Yeah,
I've gone through hospital records of my stays at various times, and they prescribed me crutches. I've still got the damn things. I paid for them. I'm not turning them into the hospital so they can reuse them. Come in handy a few times.
Oh, believe that.
I've still got the walker that when my knee was broken, I went, I'm tired of these crutches. Let me see how good I can get along with this thing. And within 3 days, I was walking. I was hobbling, but I was walking again. When I went back to see my doctor, he goes, "You didn't use the crutches since last week?" And I'm going, "Nope." And I'm not even using the walker now. And he goes, "Okay, let me see your balance." And I stood on the broken leg and did a nice little martial arts pose with the other leg straight out. And he goes, "Okay, that's enough." And I purposely did not hear him and stood there for another couple of minutes going, "Yeah, I can stand on this damn thing now." And he goes, "That's enough. That's enough. You proved your point." Yeah. Once you start healing, when it's safe, exercise, walking, even if you got a hobble, is a good first step.
Yes, no, that's the thing too. Like being able to just walk around with the stroller as support for a long time means that I can do groceries. I've been on a bicycle again.
Yeah, and a grocery cart is not a bad excuse for a walker. You got a handle and you got wheels. You can roll that sucker around and lean on it, and
and it works. And
it does.
Yeah, like I could take a walk for like 1.5 hours with her. Then just it was a bit too much, fair enough, but it felt so great to be outside. So
in a grocery store, hour and a half pushing a grocery cart, You're still in the cereal aisle.
Yeah, no, I was still in a forest. I have my preferences.
Hey, yeah, one of the things I'm going to include in the cooking videos is walking around in the woods behind my house, so people can actually see what my life is like. And hopefully I won't have any coyotes show up while I'm filming, but if I do,
Yeah.
What is your...
well, good night, Mike Jimmy.
Yeah, take care, man.
We'll
I
see
won't
you
keep in
later.
contact.
The sooner the better.
Last
But
night, you dropped a sock in the bucket of water.
Oops. Oops.
tomorrow's laundry day. I've got to take laces out of a pirate shirt so my wife can wash it and iron it. And then I've got to take a photograph of it first so I know how to put the laces back in. It's even got laces on the cuffs, and I'm going, how
Oh,
are you
yeah.
supposed to do that without a squire? I mean, seriously.
I know
I
what this is.
can't tie knots with one hand. We'll have to figure this stuff out as we go along. Good night,
Oh.
and all my love.
No, take care, man. I'll try and be around more often because I love hanging out with you guys.
Scheduling is your business. You got your own life. It's not like we're paying you. Believe me, if I could, I would. But you still wouldn't be obligated to show up every time. But in any case, I'm glad you're getting better. I'm glad that Aurora is growing up so fast. I'm glad that Luce is sticking through all of the trials and tribulations, and you got a remarkable woman that fell in love with you. Don't screw that up.
I'm trying.
No. To believe me, that kind of love is really hard to find. So everything you can do to maintain it.
That.
We'll see you later.
Take care, man.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. Transmission overload. System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.